Hello and welcome to a Monday doodle. Cheers. Today is just a bit of messing around with some liquid pencils that was given to me by Gabby, who has a channel in here, Gabby Chic Dolls. We have one in yellow and one in blue. And I've just watched a bit of a tutorial in here uploaded by the company called from Derivan. They have a art channel in here and they produced this brand here, or this tube here, and I just quickly flicked through it and saw what you could do with those, and you can do quite a lot actually with them, but I think I'll just kind of mess around with them intuitively, and then maybe later on I'll try to see what I can do with it. The thing about them is that you can re-wet them, so after you've been painting with them you can apply water to them and then work over them again, which is quite interesting. And also, I thought in the beginning, why not just use watercolors when you have watercolors? But then the cool thing is that you kind of have the effect, structure of a pencil in these colors here. So I want to give it a try. And I have a sketch here that I'll be using to paint a boat. Maybe also some plants around it to have both yellow and blue in there. So that's just that for now. The next minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe. And to those of you who don't know how to open one of these, because I didn't, this was sealed here, and I used a scissor to just take one of the ends of the scissor and then kind of put it through the metal lid here. I don't know if that's an unorthodox method of doing it, but it worked. And the first thing also that I'd like to show you before we start on the liquid pencils is, yesterday I messed around with some acrylic, and I just wanted to see, because I've never found out if I can re-wet this acrylic here. So I thought, why not test that out now while I have the palette going. So let's just add a bit of water here, like so. And see if we can reactivate this just as you would with watercolor block. Doesn't really seem like it. No, you can't. Well then that mystery is solved now. It is quite impossible for me to reactivate this acrylic here using water. Okay. I have some water over here for the liquid pencils. Let's start out with blue. Might as well put a bit down here. How much do I need? Good morning, Gabby. That's so funny because you are the one who sent me these. So now I'll try these out. I'm very excited to see. I'll try to mix up the blue here with a bit of water. You could also just swatch them without adding water, but I just feel like maybe having a bit of a wash in here. Wow. Okay, I already love the effect. It's has a nice texture. do like watercolors. Really do. I suppose I could have chosen a larger brush for this piece here, but no, I think I'll just go with it. Wait a second, wasn't this blue? It seems more gray to me. I'm very slow this Monday here. Don't register the colors until many minutes into the video. Maybe go up like that. And then we have the inside of the boat going out towards. I absolutely love the texture. It is quite like watercolor, but I just think that it's more, it seems a bit more opaque. Maybe it's because I used a pretty opaque mix there. I didn't add so much water to it. Very nice effect. Wow. I'm a bit surprised. Oh, was more than I hoped for. I was a bit skeptical. Liquid pencil, because I really like pencil and I like watercolor. So what else do we need? But this is, I guess, a mix of both, of two good worlds. But now it's actually already dry. That's impressive. So now I could start out with already working with it a bit, but let's just let it dry a bit more. Because I would like to add some of these lines here. I could also maybe just use a pencil to do some of the line work on top of it. Yeah. No, I think I'll stick to using the liquid pencil for doing the rows here of the boat. But now I feel like, now that was the blue one, so let's try out the yellow one. And Gabby, I don't know if you are drinking something, if you're having a cup of tea or coffee or juice or water or anything, but I want to say cheers to you and thank you again for the art supplies. Now, okay, is this yellow? To me it looks very gray, but let's try out and see if I'm mistaken. Now I'm using a bit more water. Let's try to make a tiny swatch here to see if it's yellow. Huh, okay. I guess they mean yellow as in it has a yellowish hue to it when you talk about graphite. Because, yeah, you can see how it has this yellowish hue compared to this one, the small bluish. Okay, so now I see, so it's more about the colors in terms of what graphite has in tones. But I think it's really beautiful, these two colors, because they harmonize quite well. Really interesting. And you know what? It really fits perfectly with this idea I have about an animation where I want to make an animation of a guy. I have also made a Monday doodle about it. A guy and a dog sitting in a ship. And I could, use these ones to make it like a really analog feel to the animation. Let's see if I have it here. I have different sketches here. There's another one here where they're sitting in a boat and the dog is sitting right here. So these two colors would fit perfectly for that. The environment is kind of like northern Jutland. Okay, I'm rambling a bit. Let's just go for the yellow. Make some sand down here. I should use a larger brush maybe. Oh, I got a bit into the boat there. Did you see that? Yeah, atmosphere, exactly. I definitely like colors that are saturated, but I also like very much colors that are like these, desaturated. And bear in mind, oh, you can see how they are activated. Every time I touch again, I can kind of push things around the pigment. Unlike watercolor, where things get a bit more settled. That's really interesting. It's really an interesting medium. Create a lot of texture, like this. And then I would like to add a bit of, I will do that in the end. I would like to add a bit of, call it marhalm in Danish, which is kind of a seaweed, or not it's a kind of a plant that grows on the beaches. Right now, I can't remember the word in English. Now, let's just see. I gotta make sure I don't use the wrong pen. Back to the blue. Because I want to make the lines for the boat. The wooden planks. So I just want to flip back to my sketch. There it is. Take a bit of blue. So now I take a bit of blue again, where I have very little water added in it. I've always been quite fascinated with how, especially the tree boats, how the wooden planks gather at the midline, how they kind of go outwards and inwards in this warped kind of perspective. Must be very difficult to construct these things. Like so. And then we could maybe add a bit of over here. Just some sort of indication of how the boat is inside. And so now I could just use again the water to reactivate it a bit and then smoothen out or soften up the planks a bit. I'd rather have the dark go a bit up instead of down, so let's just see if I can fix that. Then it's just okay that things disappear a bit here in the background. And I could use a bit of blue down here to make this fading out. So this is the inside of the boat. I'm impressed with these materials. It's so fun and intuitive. Not like watercolor, kind of, and also not like pencil, but a weird mix. Also a bit, it reminds me a bit of ink, but this is way more Here I can really work things around and keep working on it, and it's so fun. Maybe the closest thing would be gouache in comparison, which I've not worked so much in, but yes, I agree. The texture is really, really amazing. And it's just, I didn't really do anything. I just created the strokes, but then you could see where I ended my stroke from here to here. So this is just a natural thing that happened by itself, and this gives a real nice texture to the boat. And I guess if you wanted a more perfect boat, you could do a large wash first, and then, yeah, with a bigger brush, and then you could add the lines afterwards. The last thing I would like to do is to add this kind of plant vegetation. So I'll switch to the yellow. Yes, yellow. And just add a bit of, where could it be? Here maybe. And then a bit of more of water here, and then add a bit of this plant also in the back here. It's maybe a bit too light. So this is just a regular kind of not expensive paper, so it obviously it makes a bit of waves in there. I don't know if you can tell. So I recommend that if you want to make something that should be not just a sketch, you can use watercolor paper, would be better. I'm so excited about these materials. I was skeptical, as I said, but I'm totally convinced. And the great thing about these then is that compared to the acrylic that I just showed you, which was all dry, I can then just keep this palette out in the open here in my studio and reactivate them whenever I want to paint again. Do you say paint or draw with these liquid pencils? I don't know. Draw, paint. So that was the Monday Doodle for today. Thank you for tuning in. Now I will start to do some work on a website that I'm making. I have been planning to do that for at least a year, so I really can't push it anymore. Yeah, thank you for watching. Have a splendid Monday, and have fun drawing.